discuss about the differences between outer circle and expanding circle, especially in Singlish and Indonesian English. Before we go deeper, it is important to know that English doesn't function the same way in every country. In some places, it's part of daily life and institution, while in others, it's mainly used as a foreign language. To explain these differences, Mr. Braj Kachru introduced the concept of the three circles of English. In this part, we will focus on outer circle and expanding circle. First one is outer circle. The outer circle includes countries where English is not the native tongue, but it is important for historical reasons and plays a role in the nation's institutions, either as an official language or otherwise. Countries such as Singapore, Malaysia, India, and other more are part of it. Next one is expanding circle. The expanding circle includes those countries where English plays no historical and governmental role, but where it is nevertheless widely used as a foreign language or ALF. Countries like Japan, Indonesia, Russia are some examples of expanding circle. As I said before that we choose Singaporean English and Indonesian English. Singaporean English is an English variation that grew naturally in Singapore. This variation is used by bilingual or multilingual speakers on a day-to-day basis. It has two forms. First, standard Singapore English for formal context, and second one is English for informal context. One is Indonesian English. It is a variation of English used by Indonesian speakers as a foreign language. This variation is studied formally in school and university. Its structure and usage are heavily influenced by Indonesian.
The next one is the total speaker. The first one, Singaporean English, has around 5 to 6 million users, and most of the speakers are fluent because it has been used since early age, especially in education, government, and communication. Second one is Indonesian English, estimated to be around 30 to 40 million speakers as a foreign language, and the fluency is level from basic to advanced. The next one is the phonology of Singaporean English. The intonation tends to be flat. The final consonant sound is often omitted, heavily influenced by Mandarin and Malay. Meanwhile, Indonesian English challenges in distinguishing between the and the sounds. Word stress is often incorrect. Most pronunciation tends to follow spelling. There are many influences from regional dialects such as accent. Next one is vocabulary. In Singaporean English, they have a lot of vocabulary that comes from Malay and Mandarin. The pragmatic particles such as lah, leh, and meh to show emotion. Example, I can lah, or like that also can meh. And in Indonesian English, there are a lot of literal translation from Indonesian. Tends to use formal vocabulary, rarely adding pragmatic particles.
And the next one is grammatical characteristics in both variation. In Singaporean English, tenses is often omitted or they usually make it disappear. Example, the sentence, I finished my work already. It's not really usual in English, in standard English, because they usually use I have finished my work already, which they use have and the verb with an additional ed so that it shows the perfect tenses. And the next one is short and efficient sentences. The phrases such as can or not or you ate already is usually used by English speakers to make short and efficient sentences. And in Indonesian English, they tend to always use tenses, and the sentence structures usually follows the Indonesian linguist method. And these are some examples of words, phrases, and sentences in both variations. In Singaporean English, for example, why you never tell me is there is some omission or some things disappear here, which is in standard English they usually use why don't you ever tell me. Instead of English, they use why you never tell me. And then the next one is free student come late. In the sentence, there is no plural marker is usually after three, and the object or the nouns usually have an additional s here. And the next one is the phrase that they use, instrument. It's have additional particles or pragmatic particles they usually to show emotion in the sentences. And for Indonesian English, the example is, yesterday I go to campus. This is a literary translation from from Indonesian to English, which is incorrect, of course, in standard English, but as an English speaker, it is somehow correct. Because in standard English, yesterday should be put in the last here, and the words go usually change to went, which is the verb to or the past verb of go. And the next one is explain about this issue. In this sentence, there is an unnecessary prepositions which is about, because in standard English, the sentence explains this issue is sufficient. And this is what we have discussed about the feature of this English practice. First one is Singlish will be recognized as a legitimate variety. So Singapore will only have one federation, which is Standard Singapore English or SSE, but also Singlish, and they will both coexist with their own function. And for Indonesian English, will expand in usage, but it mostly will not get nativized due to English not having any social status in the country, and it is rarely used as a daily language. This variation also shows the progress of becoming a casual language where it can be used to communicate to other non-native speaker or dialects, or English as lingua franca. This means that Indonesian English may rely less on native speaker norms and more on mutual intelligibility.
And with this, the 2025 season comes to an end. Goodbye.